and I will be chairing this meeting. Just to make everyone aware, this meeting will be recorded. Please can you ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting and that your microphones are muted when not speaking. If members wish to speak or ask a question, please could you raise your electronic hands or physical hands if you're in the chamber. Also, for those in the chamber, please use your microphone when speaking. For the purpose of the next agenda item, which is declarations of interest, I can confirm we have chosen to scrutinise Cabinet Board agenda items 9, 10, 11 and 12. Are there any declarations of interest from members today based on the items we have chosen to scrutinise? If yes, Alison will forward an electronic version of the form for you to complete and email back to her. Moving on to agenda item 3, you will see the minutes attached at pages 3 to 16 of your agenda packs. We will have 3 sets of minutes together. If you feel these minutes are an accurate record of the meetings, can I please have a proposal and a seconder? If members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take these minutes as approved.
I'm happy to propose, Chair.
Councillor Reynolds has seconded. And I don't see any indications to the contrary, Chair, so the minutes are approved.
Great, thank you. Agenda item 4. We will now move to the Cabinet Board agenda for pre-decision scrutiny. The Scrutiny Committee members have decided to scrutinise items on the Cabinet Board agenda 9, 10 and 11 and 12. Item 9, elective home education. Are there any questions? Officers, would you like anything additional to add to the report?
Thank you, Chair. No, the officers are here, the manager and the coordinator. If there are any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Thank you. Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you. I'm curious in relation to the update in the guidance and the fact that it's moving from non-statutory to statutory, in my understanding. And is that going to include a requirement to register, or as was indicated, and you know, do we think that will be helpful, or yeah, I'm a bit appalled to realise that children can just never appear on our school rolls. So I wondered if you could update on that, please. Thank you.
Yes, certainly. The new guidance is due to come out towards the end of May. We will get a preview of the new guidance when it does come out. Sorry. When it does come out, I asked Welsh Government in our last meeting about the register and whether that was still going ahead, and they couldn't give us a definitive answer at that point. It would be helpful just to locate children potentially missing from education. So anybody that's coming in now to the borough of Neath, Talbot, so we can effectively track all young people. But as yet, we're not being told whether that it will happen or not yet.
Thank you. If I can ask another, thank you very much. The other is simply there's been a huge hike in numbers in the last year, and it's quite, in a way, it's quite worrying because we have no control, and we're, I have concerns in my local area about how many of those are actually receiving a reasonable education. And I wondered, have we got the capacity in the staff that we've got in existence to deal with that? Has that been catered for adequately?
It has, yes.
Additional funding with Welsh Government?
Yes, we've got 2 members of staff. We had one originally, and with the new funding that came out, we employed another coordinator. So they're both teachers. So they both go out, do yearly visits at present until the new statutory guidance comes out.
Thank you. Item 10. Are there any further indications for item 9? Yeah. The report is here for information, therefore we have noted the report. Moving on to item 10. The report is here for information and is on pages 39 to 44 of the Cabinet Board papers. Officers, do you have anything additional to add to the report?
Yes, please, Chair. John and I are here, and I've asked John to give a brief overview of this area, because it's not something that you can glean completely from the paper. It is new, and I wanted John just to explain exactly how it fits in with everything else.
Yeah, thank you. I think the initiative Community Focused Schools has come directly from Welsh Government over the last 18 months. And it's linked, if you like, to the Education and Equity Department within Welsh Government now having a closer focus on the use of research and evidence in informing our practices. Aligned to this as well is a review of our PDG grant, Pupil Development Grant, which is linked to our free school meal pupils. And obviously Welsh Government are undertaking a review of that. But research tells us that the biggest impacts we have on our most vulnerable learners is good quality teaching and parental engagement, particularly in community focused work. So Welsh Government have given some money to each of the local authorities in Wales to undertake some work looking at community focused work. We have in Neath Talbot appointed a community focused schools manager who previously worked in the third sector and worked with us on a project, Cost of the Day and Tackling Pupil Poverty. And we've appointed 4 family engagement officers to work primarily in a cluster. What we're proposing to do is undertake a bit of action research in this. We know that the earlier children are in their education, parents engage more. As they progress through the system, they engage less. So we're trying to look at a clustered-based approach within the Neath and the Delice Valleys. So we're using Llangatu Comprehensive School and its feeder primaries to undertake a bit of work where we're trying to develop engagement at the early years and then try and maintain and continue at as the children progress through the journey. This is a model we're trying to use. We're going to, like I said, undertake a bit of research around it, and hopefully we could use this model and take it to other schools within the local authority. And at the same time, we're funding our schools who are perhaps more advanced in the process of working in a community-focused way to support other schools.
Thank you for that. Do members have any questions for officers? Councillor Reynolds?
My reputation to uphold is the chopsy one on the committee. I just believe scrutiny is really important and going through the papers, and officers have put a lot of work into the papers, and it's vitally important to make sure we understand what we're being offered. I think obviously some excellent work going on in this, and it's really good to see the collaboration with the third sector on the research level and the acting research level. My impression locally and amongst the schools I know is that schools often develop things, they don't necessarily know what's going on elsewhere in the community and develop things and reinvent the wheel. And I wondered whether there's any work that we can do with governing bodies and with others to encourage a wider understanding of the other things in the communities, better links with community councils, better links with third sector community groups, churches, clubs, etc., in order that we're not developing additional things that were or could already be there or could be supported by those. And that way you're going to bring in more parents, bring in more adults in the community to engage with the school as a more central focus.
It's a really good question. I think the new curriculum takes a step forward for that in itself. The involvement of the community, not just the immediate community or the geography, but also those that are involved in the school in any way, whether that's voluntary, faith, or whatever aspect. Parental engagement, grandparental engagement, family engagement is huge as part of this project.
And just to add to that is one of the pieces of work we're doing as part of this project is a scoping exercise on the communities, because what we want to try and do is to find out what the communities need. And one of our clusters is working on something called ABC, which is asset-based community development. So we're looking at what is available within the communities and how we can build on that and engage our schools in the work of those communities. So it's looking where the strengths are, and it's, if you like, developing a reciprocal relationship between schools and communities, with communities having a responsibility for the school and the school having a responsibility for the communities, and then doing an audit of the communities and what those communities need. Because even within Neath Talbot, we have lots of different communities that need different things. So this piece of work is going in and finding out what communities need, and then, quite rightly, as you said, signposting other communities to that.
If I may, Chair, just to say, and presumably that's being done hand in hand with the local area coordinators
Yes.
in social services.
Yeah, we've
Excellent.
met with the local area coordinators of three regions and been really useful as well. So
Thank you.
We couldn't do it without them.
no, great.
Brilliant.
Thank you for that. This report is for information, therefore we have noted the report. Moving on to item 11, period dignity poverty report. The report is here for information and is on pages 45 to 50 of the Cabinet Board papers. Officers, do you have anything additional to add to the report?
We're happy to take any questions. The officers that do all the hard work behind the scenes are here.
Do members have any questions? Marie?
I just want to ask that on page 47, it says the Welsh Government announced that they've given you a further 2.5 million, you know, for period dignity. Is that going to be used the same way as it was before, which I presume the authority bought the products and sent them to schools? They didn't give, I need to be corrected if I'm wrong, they didn't give cash directly to the schools.
If I can just answer that. I give the comprehensive schools money.
Yes.
And
right.
I email all primary schools as to if they'd like any products, and if so, what products.
All right, thank you. And that's what we've
And
continued.
they're entitled to replacement uniform out of that money as well.
Yes, I read that. That's very good as well, isn't it? Yes. So I mean, and I think this is, I know it's small, but it's an important part of our looking after our schools.
Yeah,
Thank you,
because
Chief.
of the age profile, it's more cost efficient to
Yes.
do secondaries like that and
Yeah.
primaries differently.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for that. Are there any other indications on this item? This report is for information, therefore we have noted the report. Moving on to item 12, Neath. This report is here for information, is on pages 51 to 66 of the Cabinet Board papers. Officers, do you have anything additional to add to the report?
Jason and I are here to answer any questions. Jason's got an update that only came through yesterday, I think, some of the documentation. So he'll talk us through that at the beginning, if that's right, Chair.
Yeah, so this week the 2022 destination figures have been released. In the report is the 2021 destination figures. So the updated figures, we've got 2.2% of our young people transition from school into not education, employment, training. It's our second best year ever within Neath Talbot. It's 35 young people we were talking about. We are normally about 20th in Wales in the rankings. This makes us the 13th best in Wales. If we take into account those that are unknown, we are in the kind of top 5 of Wales, probably about 7th really, but very small fractions off. And very close actually to the Welsh average, the closest we've ever been. So.
Chair, considering what we've all been through over the last years, and I don't want to go on about COVID being an excuse, it's more of a reason behind this. I'm really proud of the youth service and the team and the schools and the partners that have reached out to try and have less children not known to us. And the work with the college so we don't have as many dropouts in October, November, and getting them into the right path. I think it's all about the right path. From as early as we possibly can. Not every child is destined to go on to higher education. Some children are destined to start work as soon as they can. Some children don't know what they want to do yet, but we keep in touch with them. So our second best figures, I'm really proud of that considering what we've all been through.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's an exceptional improvement. And I thank officers for all their hard work. Do members have any questions on this item? Councillor Reynolds?
Just I'd say congratulations, and I've got some lovely case studies as well, really good case studies. One question on the case study, which I'll come back to, but first off, the graph, looking at Neath going through, what happened in 2018? Because it's ludicrous. I could understand it if it was 2020 or 21, but 18. Sorry, page 60, Jason. Sorry. I mean, I doubt you can answer, but we had a small leap, but all Wales figures went through the roof.
There were kind of discrepancies in the All Wales reporting that year. There was one local authority that didn't get their figures in on time. And I think that's caused the spike that you see there. I think the rest of Wales would probably, we've still gone up, but we were similar in the going up that everybody else was. After that, then we decided to put workers to transition with young people over the summer holidays, and that's why we've come down then. So yeah, but there was discrepancies in the reporting that year.
So we've got that to thank for the system we now have, really. But thank you for that. The other just comment really was on the first case study. Are we working with school governors in any way at all in order to get them to understand the assistance dogs issue? And it just seems appalling that that was a major problem and prevented a young woman from being able to participate.
It was a one-off need for support that we found, and anyway, so and we were able to, and it came to our attention later on in year 11 with our pupil, so we were able to help her during her transition, really, to help her sit her exams, as it says in the case study, and then also help her to get that support that she's needed in college, and colleges now are supporting her. She's allowed to take her assistance dog in with her. I think it could be a growing issue with assistant pets and dogs, not just guide dogs. You're talking about helping with well-being and a whole range of things. So it could be an ongoing issue. We have raised it with the school, and the school have kind of said they will look at developing something in the future going forward. But I don't know, because we've moved on to this year's kind of problems and issues now. So we could be helping with that in the future. Yeah.
I wondered if it might be possible for if it it is likely to be an increasing problem, whether it might be possible to consider the authority doing some sort of model risk assessments or something of that nature, because it does seem like a small thing. I mean, it's not, because there is a risk, but a small thing to prevent someone having a good education.
Can I answer that, Chair? That's right. We are looking at some of our primary schools that bring in support dogs as a matter of the curriculum, if you like, for to them that anxiety and the feeling that some children are anxious. I think some of our secondary schools are worried about it rolling into something it doesn't need to be. So managing one anxiety or support dog on site for an individual could be very different to managing 27 dogs on site if people came forward, because you're averaging, we have about 1,400 children in year 11 spread over 8 schools. So you can imagine it could turn into something it doesn't need to. So, but we are mindful of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. This report is for information, therefore we have noted the report. The pre-decision of public items is complete. We will now move back to the scrutiny agenda. Agenda item 5, forward work programme. The item is just for noting unless members have any comments. Okay, moving on. Agenda item 6, urgent items. I don't have any. And thank you for today, and that closes the meeting.